Today on the Onward podcast, we have Jess Flynn. She's the founder and CEO of Red Sky. Jess is everything to everyone, and I'm so happy to get her on today. She's been the CEO of the PR and marketing agency Red Sky for years. She has 25 years of journalism and PR expertise. She's an Emmy Award-winning broadcast journalist. But most importantly, Jess is a community leader, one of the pillars of the Treasure Valley community. She is involved in everything that has to do with our community and making it better. I'm really excited to have her on today and just hear words of wisdom and advice from her and learn more. You will love this podcast. Prior to Jess Flynn, I'll have an Alquist update with my partner, Holt Haga. Hey, Holt, this week for our update, what I wanted to talk a little bit about is just how important relationships are. The guys at D&B have been just, we become great partners with them on a lot of projects. So they came to us and wanted to go to Homedale.
Yeah.
Now, I know a guy like you, live downtown Boise, you go past 16th Street just to come to work. You didn't even know where Homedale was,
Yeah,
did
I
you?
didn't know. Well, if it doesn't have a golf course, it doesn't qualify
And
as
it doesn't have a golf
town.
course. The reason I know so much about Homedale is the shooting clays place is right there.
Oh, yeah, we went out there. Yeah.
So you drove by there?
I drove through there.
You drove through there.
Yeah. I've been there
Anyway,
a
they
couple
came
times
to
now.
us, and we ended up working with John Jackson. Jackson's legacy. That's where his father had his first gas station.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to do a new gas station out there. D&B wanted to do a new store out there, and then we all of a sudden had, I turn it over to you, and I'm like, hey,
project.
Oh, what the hell are we going to do with the rest of the site out here? Really?
Yeah.
And
It worked out. I think I think it was probably within 2 months, 3 months, we had the rest of the site locked down with letters of intent that we ultimately signed, and we're moving forward with those groups, and they're great. They're great groups.
Can you talk about the groups or no?
Yeah. So O'Reilly
is
going to have. They took down about an acre there. McDonald's will be on the hard corner. ICCU will have a branch out there.
What a great. You think of Jackson's and those new tenants, and then D&B out there.
It's a great little project.
It's a great project.
It's a great project. And
can I tell you a funny story? I haven't told you this story. I just thought of it. So I was up. It was strange because I was up at an event in Coeur d'Alene at a hangar and up there, and it was a thing with Governor Little, and it was a cool event to go to, but it had nothing to do with Homedale or what I'm going to talk about. And I had a lady kind of chase me down, and she's like, "Hey, I need to talk to you. You are changing my child's life." And I'm like, I'm up in Coeur d'Alene, and I'm trying to
where is this going to go?
You're just like, where is this going to go? And she says, I live in Homedale. And do you know how excited my kids are that they can go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal?
I mean, it puts things in perspective, right?
Hold on, like, dang.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I am not sure from a nutritional, macro, just brain health or whatever, that French fries and chicken nuggets are...
The barriers to entry for... Now it's an everyday thing instead of every...
But no, she's like, think about it. They've never had anything like that close by.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's a funny story. So I just started laughing so hard. I'm like,
you changed my life. You're probably thinking back with your ER days when the guy's like, you saved my life, literally.
Yeah. No, it was chicken nuggets.
Now it's chicken nuggets.
And I gave credit. I'm like, hey, I got a team that figured all this out. And anyway, but at Homedale, we're going to have our groundbreaking the week of this podcast.
Yeah.
What a great community. I do need to say, since we've been out there, the city, the mayor, the people, and this is no surprise. You get a little bit into rural Idaho. It is the heart and soul of our state. It's the most wonderful folks you've ever been around. And this project is going to be beautiful. We're starting construction. All of it goes in at the same time, and it's already under construction. We're starting site work out there already. So
I went from never going to Homedale or once in the last 10 years to 10 times in the last couple months. And so it's great to spend time out there.
And there's growth out there.
It's beautiful.
People from the Treasure Valley, well, first of all, it's beautiful, but we're sprawling out that way. Unintentionally, but a lot of people, you can still go out there and get some acreage and a lot going on out there.
Yeah, you're right on the river. It is.
And again, shout out to D&B. That community will change when you have someone like D&B come in and make something like this happen. So
yeah, it's going to be it's another great project. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
excited.
everybody. Jess, thank you for coming on. This is I'm excited.
I am excited as well. I'm sure this conversation is going to go in a lot of interesting directions.
They always do. Mm-hmm. They always do. Thank you so much. You're an incredible person. I was talking to someone about you the other day, and anyway, you're kind of a community pillar, and you're everywhere, and have developed into the go-to for all things that matter for Boise. So, the Treasure Valley. How does it feel?
I feel like I'm blushing. We could probably see that on screen. I always tell people to figure out how to graciously accept compliments. So thank you for that, and recognizing that, because it's important. It's important to me as a business owner and a leader to figure out what my role is in the community and where I can connect people. And so if that is what the perception is out there, then I'm doing my job and being successful.
I would say back to you, you're so authentic and genuinely about our community and our people and this place. Yeah. That probably is where it comes from. At least that would be the first word that would come out of my mouth. Has that always been natural for you?
No. I would say, and this goes back to, while I have now lived in Boise and Idaho more than anywhere else, longer than anywhere else, I am not an Idaho native. I know that you talk about this a lot with your guests, but I was first dragged here kicking and screaming as a teenager for my senior year of high school from New York. And then after the start of my professional career, I chose to come back and I chose to stay. And then I eventually became an entrepreneur. And I think it was truly about halfway through this entrepreneurial journey where I realized, okay, we don't truly exist in silos. And for businesses and our employees to be successful, we have to figure out where our impact and connectivity is, and how we can bring together people and ideas around, whether that's shared goals or shared values.
Hey, isn't it interesting though, doing the right authentic thing? Like if you gave a class, let's say you went and taught at Boise State today.
Yeah.
And you were with a room full of 50 inspiring entrepreneurs, and it was some business class, and you were saying, what's the most important thing for you to develop a successful, profitable business? It probably would be if you could authentically connect to your heart and what you want and the people, and serve and do things. It's not going to be immediate, but for your brand, for who you are, for what you do, you'll look back and go, well, it was what I liked doing because I wanted to do it anyway. And it became, it's just interesting how that goes, right?
Yeah. And it's this word authenticity and how we live an authentic life. I feel that has probably been one of the biggest journeys I've been on in how much of myself do I show, whether it's to clients or to community. Because on one hand, you want to portray this confidence and conviction in what you're doing. But the authentic reality is, as a small business owner, as somebody that cares about this place, there are things that concern me. There are definitely things that give me anxiety and keep me up at night. And it's that balance of how much do you transparently and authentically share? And how much do you cheerlead, or how much are you a hard truth teller?
Yeah.
And I think I speak a lot to people that are starting out in businesses or thinking about partnerships or anything. And I'm like, there's a couple things you really need to do.
Do you enjoy the mentorship part of your life?
I do.
Because I know you do a lot of it.
I do have a lot of conversations. It's kind of what fills my cup, that kind of spontaneous conversation of, hey, here's what I did, and here's the places that I could have done better. Here's what I've learned along the way. And you take those learnings of mine and see how it applies to your life. And one of the things I tell people, and I think this is for any business at any size, is constantly communicating and thinking about what your idea of success is. Because I feel like every single business owner will say, of course, I want my business to be successful. But what success means to me versus what it means to you. I've been in business with folks, and success to them was providing financially for their family and for their retirement. Success to me has always been about creating a place where people can satisfy their ambitions and do great work. and have an impact on community. But that may not always mean a certain profitability, right? So it's if you define and constantly look at what does it mean to be successful.
It's not interesting, but profitability's there, right? So you have to balance as like a CEO, and we'll talk a little bit about your business, but isn't that what makes it great though? Is you have to figure out, hey, I have to be good at everything.
Yeah.
I have to be good at branding. I have to be good at marketing myself. I have to be good at walking that line of being community involved, but not over the top, because I serve everyone, and I have to be profitable, and I have to be inspiring, and I have to mentor, and I have to make people that work for me attracted to work here and recruit and retain them. And that's entrepreneurship.
It is, and it's tiring.
You have to love it, right?
You have to love it. You have to love it, and you also have to recognize where you can set up boundaries and say no. Yeah. Because if you aren't energized and pulling energy from things, then you can't give to other people.
How do you do that? How do you? I'm not good at it.
We should have a club.
What ends up happening with me, and I watch it happen. Like last night, I got home late and I was just dragging ass. I mean, it just was like, And unfortunately for me, it's usually my family. Or whoever. It's my people that are closest to me. It's the end of the day, and then it's ultimately when I get home where it's just empty. How do you keep it up, and just so that you have what you need to deliver to everyone in your life?
Yeah, I have worked hard to get better at disconnecting at certain points. In some ways, our hyper-connected society and being able to work from anywhere else is so wonderful, but it's also so terrible. Yeah. Because there is no turning something off. And in my business, we are there for clients at their time of need, which means I answer the call no matter when it rings. But there are things that energize me and help my brain do different things, and that's a lot of hands-on activities. I did a presentation. Remember when we had Ignite Boise back in the day? Yeah. One of it was why I think every business owner should make sausage, because I grind meat and make sausage and do things physically. I am a sporadic crafter and bad artist, so I will cross-stitch inappropriate cross-stitch things with curse words. I may have to get you one, Tommy.
I need one.
So I try to do things that are away from technology that connect my creative side with my hands.
That's so important.
I also try to do things that make me uncomfortable, that I don't know a lot about. I was in Twin Falls yesterday because I serve on a community bank board, and while, monthly going to Twin for this very important role takes time out of my business, it also frees my brain from what I'm typically thinking about to think about things in a very different way, from a financial system way. And so, yes.
So diversity.
The diversity of experiences, for sure. I imagine we'll say the D word a lot, because I am a huge believer in, get outside your bubble. Yeah. Do things that are different. Surround yourself with artists and creatives and people that view the world differently. That is energizing to me.
I'm going to go back. Tell me about your move from New York here, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Was it a relocation for your folks? What was the reason to come to Boise, Idaho?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in a town called Poughkeepsie, New York, in the Hudson River Valley, just about an hour and a half north of New York City. I'm of Irish and Italian roots, out of Queens, and two of my step-parents and my dad all worked for IBM. So I lived in a true company town, which I don't think there's many that exist nowadays. Where I was growing up, where they had their own country club for IBM, everything we did was tied to that company. And when they, as one of the Big Blue, did their first layoffs in the early 90s, my stepfather at the time chose to take the buyout and look for a new job. And he found and was recruited to a job running an engineering line at a company here in Boise, Idaho. And this was the summer before my senior year of high school.
Wow.
And
what a tough time to tell your kid.
Yeah,
we're moving to Idaho.
I was not a happy kid. I didn't know anything about Idaho. Admittedly, couldn't even find it on a map. Right. And so moved here, and it was probably the best thing for me. There's an author that I love, Brené Brown, And I believe she's the first one that said, don't clear the path for your kids, prepare your kids for the path. As in,
I love that.
How do you think about building resilience in kids? And as much as I was probably a complete brat to my parents at the time, it taught me kind of this resilience and starting over and how do you connect with people that you have nothing in common with. And Boise and Boise High was a great place for a transplant to go. It was really interesting. I still have some longtime friends, just had our 30th high school reunion, and there are still people that I connect with. But I was here a year and I was like, I need to get out. I need to go someplace where people don't look like me. I need to go far away to a big school in a big city. And so I left Boise. But there's one thing I forgot about my move to Boise that I always think about now. My mom and I were here our first week and we were walking in downtown Boise. These people kept passing us. I'm like, why are they all smiling at us? We don't know them. What do they want from us?
Yeah.
My mom was like, they do that here. They're just friendly. And
they do that here.
I thought it was ridiculous, but I'm now one of those people that smiles at complete strangers on the street. So
Says hello.
Just lost that edge. So.
Oh, wow. That's great. And so then where'd you go to school?
Went to the University of Texas at Austin. So I'm a Longhorn.
That's great. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I have strong opinions about football. And
you're going to be good this year.
Yeah. I'm hoping we'll get to the championship finally.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went there for journalism. My whole life, I'd been very curious. I got into journalism in high school, even in elementary school. I was writing and just wanted to know things before anybody else and wanted to tell stories. And I went there, and I originally wanted to be a foreign correspondent or a documentary producer, and fell into news producing. So the individuals that are behind the camera that help put together the newscasts and stuff like that. And yeah, started my career working in Austin, Texas, a pretty large market, and was there for a couple of years and then got recruited to Pittsburgh. So I moved to Pittsburgh. Both places I moved sight unseen because, that first pushed me off a cliff.
Did you like Pittsburgh?
I loved Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It was a great town. It's interesting. It frequently tops, like Austin, some of these great kind of innovation and transformation places. And it is completely, both in the way that they've transformed their downtown, but just the way they've welcomed entrepreneurs there.
Yeah. I had a really good friend there in emergency medicine. So when I got snowed in there for like a week. And it was awesome. It was just awesome. And before that, if you would have said Pittsburgh, but it was really fun. So how long were you there?
I was there almost exactly 2 years. And then at the ripe old age, I think I was 23 or 24, I thought, I know everything there is to know about news. I should be in management. And there's times I wish I still had that confidence and surety of youth. I'm like, I can do this. And so my family had stayed in Boise. My sister and her husband had moved back to Boise to start their law careers. And I thought, well, let's go someplace comfortable to work in management, and then I'll move on, because in media, you move markets. Yeah. So I came back in 2000.
And which media company?
I was at Channel 6, so KIVI, and I was the executive producer there for 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to get to what you do now, because, so talk me through the birth of Red Sky. Yeah,
so instead of moving out of this market, I decided, wow, I really like this place. Like so many people that come here, either a trailing spouse for a job, or maybe they graduate college and they think I'm going to go somewhere else. I really wanted to stay. And I had met my longtime partner, and he's a Boise City fireman, and that's a job for life, and he wasn't moving. So decided, well, how can I make this work but do something different? So storytelling. So I got into public relations in 2004. And I worked for a local agency, the one PR agency in town at the time, Scott Perrin and Associates, if you remember them. And after about 2 years there, one of our biggest clients hired me to be doing PR in-house, and that was Tamarack Resort.
Oh, wow.
So worked for Tamarack until a time when some of us were saying, hey, there needs to be a strategic PR agency in this town that really looks at PR in this broader way and integrates with advertising and marketing, but it is a true business strategy. Why don't we start something? And there was 3 other folks who'd been doing PR and business way longer than I had, and I said, that would be interesting. And in 2008, if you recall, it was a challenging time in the economy and a challenging time in development.
It's nice to be around someone that remembers that. It seems like I've had a lot of young guests on. I'm like, well, there was this thing called the Great Recession.
Yeah. Oh, I remember it well. And in some ways, and you hear all these anecdotes about like the best time to start a business. We wound up, my job essentially disappeared at Tamarack. So while we'd been talking academically about starting a PR agency, we did it in a week to stand up Red Sky. And I looked back and we actually incorporated on February 29th, 2008. I don't know if doing it on a leap day helps at all, but yeah. So we started, and there were originally 4 founders, and I am the sole remaining founder and CEO. So 17 years in business and lots of ups and downs in the economy since then.
And have done a tremendous. I mean, your body of work. Is it strange for you? Is it when you reflect? When you reflect now over 17 years, what kind of emotions and what thoughts do you have?
It seems both long and very short.
Yeah.
I look back and I think about it. I mean, we've had over 50 folks that have worked for us throughout this time. You know, currently the tenure of folks that are with us are from 4 to 15 years. So we have long-term employees. I'm proud, I will have to say, from a competitive side. At one point, the people that would kind of leave and go on to other things, and sometimes competitive agencies, my competitive side would get all riled up. But now I'm like, if they gained the skills and the confidence and the desire to start and run their own businesses, that is a credit to what we had at Red Sky. And I take great pride in seeing a lot of former colleagues who have started their own successful businesses, yes, in comms, but other places. And so I take a lot of pride in that. And that the other thing that I really love is when people come up to me and say, through the trainings or through the work that we've done with you in speaking and sharing our story or in doing interviews, I've gained this confidence in how I engage in the world and tell my story. So to have that, kind of those seeds of impact.
It's very rewarding.
It is extremely rewarding. I love to hear that.
Did you always, and I've been thinking about what to ask you, but you're very good at connecting people. You're very good at confidence and relationships, and I've seen you do your thing. Was it always natural? Was it kind of like a God-given, hey, this is what I do? Or have you had to develop that?
Yes and yes. I would say the curiosity factor has always been there. I like to say I'm voraciously curious. That's why journalism, it seemed, came as a natural first career, because that ability to ask questions, to listen and ask even deeper questions has always been something that gives me great satisfaction. And then kind of that next phase that came as Red Sky kind of grew, probably about 5 years in, was this realization that the true value that our clients saw was when we could connect businesses, individuals, and ideas together to create something even better, take them outside of their silo. And I've often said that it's not 6 degrees, it's 2 degrees of separation in Boise and Idaho. And
it is.
Even as we grow, it's the same way. And I think there's such value in how we can feel so apart in technology if people can help connect us. And so that is, yes, something that we do with our clients, but also in my personal life, I love when people that come from perhaps disparate backgrounds can recognize they have some sort of common interest, common ground, common conversation to have.
You're good at it. What is the most important quality, do you think, in someone starting a business here? For whatever reason, I get the privilege, and I think it is an honor to have people come in and say, hey, will you mentor me? Will you help me? And I take it seriously. Sometimes my assistant will say, what the heck are you doing? And I'm like, I will always make time for it. But I get asked that question, like, what if, as you're starting out, what are the qualities that you should either have naturally, and I like how you said yes and yes. Mm-hmm. So you may have them, but they can all, your strengths can become stronger, and your weaknesses or blind spots can be discovered and then improved upon. But what are the qualities you would suggest to young entrepreneurs out there listening that would make a difference over the long haul in their careers to have a successful Red Sky?
Yeah. I do think self-awareness and those It was interesting. We were talking about on a panel recently soft skills. And April Arnzen from Micron, the chief people officer, was moderating the panel. And she's like, we don't call them soft skills, we call them power skills. And I love that because I think there may be technical things that people feel they must have in order to run a business. I have a journalism degree. I don't have an MBA.
Yeah.
I failed my stats course in college when I tried to get a minor in business. Like, that part of running a business does not come naturally to me. I have to work hard at it. The parts that I feel sometimes are glossed over are those power skills of, okay, you have to have self-awareness. You have to have empathy and understanding that that phrase, it's not personal, it's business, that's not true. Everything is personal. Because every decision you make impacts an individual, not just you, but the people that may be partnering or working with you. I, by my very nature, am a paranoid pragmatist. I wake up every morning and I think about possibly the worst things that can happen, and I try to prepare for them. That gives me comfort. I think that's why.
That's a hell of a way to live, Jess, but okay.
I'm trying to be more positive. But it's pragmatism. It's not pessimism. It's, like, what are the challenges that I might face?
Yeah.
But I think that you need to surround yourself with people that are almost the opposite of you. So
I do.
Right?
That's big.
And it can't be yes people. It may feel nice to have people around you that think everything you say is wonderful, but you need those folks that are going to question and challenge you, whether they are an advisory board or a mentor, somebody that challenges your thinking and your decisions so that your thinking and decisions are made better by it, even if you stand in your own convictions.
That is so, I'm so glad you're bringing that up. I think about, and I say this to anyone who asks me, but like Ryan Cleverly is kind of my right hand, but he is opposite in every way, yin to yang, right?
Yeah.
Half glass empty. This is why it won't work. He's the accountant. He's the numbers guy. He's the wait a minute guy.
Yeah.
And I think of how many times that tension, if I didn't have that in my life, what trouble I would have got in, and just like it's just that's growth. You want to surround yourself with people smarter than you.
Yep.
And that challenge what you do. I mean, and that's not intuitive to some people.
No.
You gotta get secure with that.
Yeah. And there were two things when I was reflecting back when we celebrated our 10th anniversary. There were a couple things that I wrote down, and one of them was, just because it's not how I would do it doesn't mean it's wrong. And I think when you're growing kind of almost beyond that startup and management role and trying to be a leader, it is that as you're delegating to those that you hire, you partner with, is recognizing and trying to, we all have ego, but trying to take some of that out and be like, this is perhaps another way to do it. It's not how I would do it. And then walking into every conversation, even with those you disagree with, even with those that may be at a lower level than you in experience, and appreciating that they know something I do not.
Yeah.
Every single person knows something you do not.
Beautifully put. Beautifully put. I think that's those are the things that you probably mature into.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you start, and frankly, when you get going and you're starting a business and you don't have room for error, and you want to control everything because you have to, because it has to succeed, right?
Yeah.
And then as you age and you think, hey, I'm going to have to start trusting, and I think it's a process. I think I'm getting better at it. I think and hope I am as well. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder. I want to shift topics a little bit. If you think of media, PR, what you're an expert at, and you think of how much it's changed in your 17 years, and how it continues to just evolve. I mean, it's on this rocket ship that who knows where it's going. It's probably, I mean, this is a shameless plug. I'm going to give you one, but it's probably more important than ever for companies to have trusted people out front like you, helping them navigate this world, because it is it's so different.
Yeah. That trusted advisory role, that strategic communications role, I used to get so angry when people be like, oh, why would you pay for that? And I'm like, you pay for lawyers, you pay for accountants, you pay for these outside professionals to bolster what you have in-house. It's the same with comms.
Most of the time it's cleaning up the shit
that
happens. So it's like, why wouldn't you pay for it to try to help
At
on
the
the
forefront?
It's kind of like you're going to pay for it one way or another.
And I think, too, having folks that can kind of keep their heads up and be looking forward, because so much of being in a business, you are handling the day-to-day in the weeds. So since 2008, the communication landscape has gone through multiple iterations of like these earthquake transformations. Starting in 2008 was kind of the advent of social media becoming something that businesses were actually like, wait, is this something that we should do? I think back, I was on Twitter in 2008, and we had this whole Boise Twitter community, and it was this fabulous place where you would connect with folks that you would have no otherwise reason to ever know, and then you would meet in real life, and it was this very congenial, interesting place to be. I do miss that quite a lot, because it is kind of a hellscape right now in certain parts of social media.
Half bots and who knows what, right?
And I would say at that time, there was this fear, like there is with every technology, that, oh my God, we're not going to need any PR, marketing, or advertising agencies because we can do it all ourselves. And I think there was that brief bit of fear where businesses were they're gonna just take it all in-house. And that's not what happened. We have this real interest in technology and how do we use it, and like the pendulum goes one way and then it settles back into, we still need strategy, we still need intentionality, we still need planning and goals and thoughts and understanding of what does this democratization of communication mean for me, my business, my brand. Like I used to tout it was the greatest thing ever because you could be a broadcaster, you could be a newspaper publisher, you had these tools at your disposal. Now what we're seeing is this fragmentation of the media landscape, as in there is no one source of news that I turn to for all my needs.
Yeah.
I do what I call triangulation. I work very hard to get out.
You have to, right?
Right.
Otherwise, you don't know what to believe anymore.
Exactly. And this like crisis of trust.
Yeah.
What are the entities that people turn to trust? What are the industries? What are these iconic places? And we think about, like, back in the day, we used to have great high trust in government. We used to in media and all of these things.
Have you found your customers coming to you and having you help them with their communication so that their own customers trust them?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that sounds crazy.
No,
but I just had one of our healthcare CEOs on, and within healthcare, I would have never in a million years in my life. One of the beautiful things, there were a lot of always challenging things about being in an ER and healthcare, but you never got questioned. You never, like it would have never come up. Are you telling me the truth, or are your intentions there, or is this about billing? And I've thought about like just that. I mean, healthcare's not trusted anymore.
It's not there. I'm trying to think back to every year Edelman, which is this global company, puts out the Edelman Trust Barometer, where it's looking at and assessing where trust lies in institutions, and everything has fallen off the cliff.
So all institutions?
All institutions have taken a dip. At one point, it was that businesses are more trusted, as in business leaders, what they would say, their employees would trust them more, the consumers would trust them. But everything is on this downward slide. And yes, our clients do come to us with, how are we trying to reach directly to people and make sure they trust what is coming out of our mouths and our information? And a lot of times we're getting to, how do we establish a one source of truth location for everything that you have to say? How do we make it easy for people to understand? How do we also give them the credible backup information, so if they are in that triangulation mode, they know it is not just your marketing speak, it is also backed up by data and information.
Man, my mind's buzzing as you're saying all this. Because I'm just thinking through the complexities in today's world of running, and I know you represent big businesses, you're medium, small, and it probably a little different for each one of them, but all of them have to tackle what you just said. And now there is kind of this marketing brand strategy that is super important. And then there's also and how do you create one source of truth for what you're saying and have people verify and garnish truth in who you are, whether you're a real estate company or a hospital or a whatever it is, right?
Yep.
It's more complicated than it's ever been.
More complicated than it's ever been. And unfortunately, I would say that AI, while I found
I can't wait to talk to you about this.
Oh gosh,
This is my
I said it. I brought
thing.
it in. It is more complicated now, and it will increasingly get more complicated. And it's this interesting tension of we have more ways to reach people than ever before. Yay, and oh God, we have more ways to reach people than ever before. And it's really trying to do the research to understand and identify who are you trying to reach? What are you trying to influence them to think or do? And how do you figure out how to measure it?
All right, let's get into it then.
Okay.
What the role of AI, when I just had the healthcare CEO on, there's certainly some very positive things about AI.
Yes.
How it's going to make us more efficient, and I walked him through an example of just charting and follow-up and integration of research and tools and for patient care, all of those sort of things. But if you think of the negatives, I mean, I don't even know where this thing's heading because it's happening so quickly, Jess.
Yeah.
It's frightening how, and listen, as an old guy that's still trying to figure it out, I mean, we're using it a lot.
Yeah.
We're using it for contracts. We're using it for press releases. We're using it we're just starting to use it more because it's become pretty dang efficient. But where's it going? And what do we need to be worried about? And what does the next 3 to 5 years look like?
Yeah. Well, I guess the easiest way I can say where we are right now is everybody started playing in the playground and nobody set up the rules for it.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? So everyone's all over and there's this excitement to it. And then there's bits and pieces that are coming out when we see these horrible things like whatever happened on X the other day with some of the content that was going out from Grok. And we are seeing hallucinations. And you mentioned a press release. I early on put in, testing it out, write this. And it had a completely different CEO than me about Red Sky. I'm like, where are you getting that from? So we are at a place where there's...
But it probably read really well.
I will say there's some language, but yes.
It's a good point. Like, you're depending on who's producing the AI, and there's different sources for that, and what data it gets. It's going to, in my opinion, I think it's going to erode this whole belief system even more. Like, okay, do I believe this?
Yeah.
It's going to cause people, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that we're going to need to verify, but I don't know.
And that's part of it. I have appreciated seeing in some of the platforms. I use Claude a lot just because of the structure of it works better for our creative industry. And I appreciate when they're sourcing. And sometime I'll double check on I'll click over to the sourcing and be like, that is the wrong extrapolation from that. You positioned this not like that source was. So it's interesting to...
You're arguing with a machine.
You're arguing with a machine. I know.
How crazy where we are.
I have so many thoughts about robots.
This is not like in the old days you would say, hey, two physicians looking at a study and saying, you are literally...
Yeah. Oh, and I talked to Claude. Well, I will have to show you afterwards in preparing for this.
Yeah.
We put in the transcripts of probably the past year of podcasts, put in kind of my bio, and asked our tool to kind of assess the key topics and just the general framework, and then potential questions and areas that I should prep and focus on.
This is fascinating.
Yeah, and so from an efficiency standpoint, it takes us.
How did it do?
It did pretty well. It gave you some, I'll have to, I was pulling it up. I'm like, I'll have to read this to Tommy. Yeah. It was pretty interesting. But just kind of pulling out the themes and the leadership themes and things that, yes, could I have gotten to it? Of course. But it would have taken me probably 3 to 4 hours.
I am so glad you did this, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. It's really interesting. So going back to where things are going, I think the cat is out of the bag of this tool, and so many people are coming up with different applications for it. I think legally, the legal system needs to catch up with it, because it's not like right now, unless something's changed in the past month that I don't know about, you can necessarily copyright outputs of AI. We're seeing things out there where there are AI bots and entities that are creating content that looks like news that is factually inaccurate about, say, some of our clients. And trying to get to the bottom of that to correct it is challenging. So I think...
I had never thought of that either.
And that's some of the dangers of it, right? And I would also say some of the dangers that we're starting to hear bits and pieces about is just like the algorithm. So maybe I'll just start talking about corgis. And I am sure my phone is listening. On an Instagram, I'll start to see corgis all the time. Or I get stuck in a particular algorithm.
I didn't even know what that was till last week, but
they will...
I do now in my mind.
I was going to say, all these gentlemen do. The algorithm on Instagram feeds you a certain thing.
Yeah.
My concern, and that I think we are seeing with AI, is that how you're using the AI is going to feed you back your own worldview.
Wow. Why wouldn't it?
Right? And so just like we need to triangulate and be more media literate because we get sucked into a specific algorithm and worldview, that is one of the dangers of AI, of making sure that you are truly sourcing and bringing things in, let alone all the environmental and energy usage of AI.
Let's talk about that.
I have a dear colleague that challenges my way of thinking a lot, and her concern with AI that I've started to read and see more about, and you're starting to see it in tech publications as well, is the massive amount of energy that is used every time you engage with AI, and these data centers that are going up, and just beyond a typical Google search, just the processing energy and water that is used. And I try to be very responsible with thinking, okay, do I need to use AI for that truly? Or is there an amount of processing that is truly effective and efficient for my business that I should use it for? But I think all of us are like, this is a cool new tool. Let's play around with it. And don't think about what that's meaning for how we're feeding that that engine.
It's frightening.
Something to keep you up at night.
The data. I was in Moscow looking at a project last week, and I was having lunch with a very, very smart guy. Oh, I could have just sat there for a long time with this guy. And he went off on this long, soliloquy on revolutions in American history. And it was just the content was fascinating because it was really fun to hear his take on, every one of them that happened. And then he looked at me and he said, "This revolution will be unlike any other in the fact of what it means to everyday society, winners, losers, how we approach it, the legal consequences, the practical social construct consequences." And he went into this, and I just sat there listening the whole time, and I just sat back in my chair and thought, oh, wow. I just think we're just trying to understand what it is. And, I think we'll figure it out. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know if we figure it out. I go on deep dives.
Yeah.
I'm weird. I'm just weird because I will get stuck on something and then I will go deep. And right now I've studied, 5 years ago, I went deeply into kind of the Idaho Native American, Indian culture.
Yeah.
After I ran for governor, I visited them all, and I'm like, I'm going to really, so I did a Chief Joseph thing for a year and a half. And I did but I have never gone back another layer to the ancient Native American tribes in America and the history of those tribes to how you got, those thousands of years of how you got from those tribes up to what we consider the Native American tribes here in our history that I understood really well. Anyway, that's where I'm stuck right now. But when you sit and think about what has happened in world history over time to populations, how we always seem to find a way to destroy each other.
We are getting deep right now. But no, I think this is...
I know, but it's you sit and think about it, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it only took the introduction of horses to change nomadic, agricultural-based hundreds of year tribal relationships of these ancient American Indian tribes to warrior tribes over hundreds of years, to then them killing each other, to then us coming and massacring all of them. Like, you look at how that happened over hundreds of years, and then you think about introduction of AI. Yeah, it probably will destroy us because we're good at destroying each other. We are. I mean, we just, it's really sad. And one other irony that came up to me, I don't know why we're getting on this, but this is because I was reading this last night, but it also has always been one of the greatest ironies that, like, at the same time we're fighting for civil rights and freeing the slaves, at the exact same time we came and massacred the Indians. the same generals.
The hypocrisy of it all. Yeah, and kind of going back to 2 points that you made, that, and let's call it technology, whether it is the wheel or whether it is horses. It's interesting. There have been these graphs done about the time for a mass adoption.
Oh, yeah.
And just our speed and mass adoption of technologies that are having the same impact is exponential.
This is Dell's point at lunch up there. He's like, every one of these, like, take refrigeration, which completely changed the way agriculture was spread. Take the Industrial Revolution, the automobile, whatever. They were long. The horse, the whatever. And all of a sudden we had iPhone, boom. We have internet, boom. We have AI. It's just going to go faster. And we're really maladapted at quick change in taking care of people and, like, what the implications are. And
because you had those generations to get used to that, whereas we are doing things almost in a micro-generational time frame. To your point about just this shock about civilizations, I had the privilege to go to Egypt and the Nile a couple of years ago. And
how was that?
Was never on.
So what's your theory? I can't wait.
No.
Oh, come on, Jess. Tell me what you think.
We had an Egyptologist tour guide, and when we were at the pyramids of Giza, and she was talking, and just the engineering feat, I would assume with your brain and your work, you would have so many thoughts. But I just was sitting there, and she's like, "How do you think it was done?" And I start to raise my hand. She's like, "You cannot say aliens," and I put my hand back down because it is just.
Are you sure?
I think we look back in history, and sometimes we don't respect the intelligence and the complexity of those that came before us.
But the new LiDAR stuff that's out, have you gone down this rabbit hole?
I have not gone down this rabbit hole yet.
Okay, that's your next rabbit hole.
But to see what's in.
If you go on the new LiDAR stuff of what's under it all, it will blow your mind.
Yeah, just standing there, I was almost in tears because I'm like,
I need to go there.
Yeah.
Did you feel safe?
We did go with a group, so we were in a protected bubble. Being in Cairo and the bigger cities is definitely a different experience. That's that kind of getting outside your comfort zone type of thing. But we did, and this was.
I probably am never going to get there. I am just at this stage of my life. I just want to go to McCall. Honestly, I don't even want to go. I don't even want to go to Disneyland. I don't even want to go anywhere in America anymore. Let alone, like, I just don't want to ever. I just want to watch it on TV. I don't know. My family gives me such a hard time.
I would give you a hard time. See the world.
They want to go see the world. I'm like,
go places that you're out of your comfort zone. That's kind of the thing. I'm like, I've been to Japan. That is so different.
Oh, how was that?
It was so different. It was at the start of COVID. We were skiing, and the world was kind of shutting down as we were getting ready to come home. And it's just so different. And every time you travel, it alters the way that your brain sees the world and sees the people that you interact with on a daily basis. It gives you a broader context. So I'm a big proponent of travel, and not even just if you can't travel all over the world, then like travel outside your bubble.
I got to bring you back to, because there's a few, I still have a lot more I wanted to ask you, but I want to get back to our community.
Yes.
It's changing rapidly. Get asked all the time. I mean, we're seen as the problem now. There was back in the day when we did 8th and Main, right? It was like, oh, this is so wonderful. And, you're doing this wonderful stuff. And that ended now, because now you're like, you're a developer, right? So we're in the middle of a lot of things. We're in the middle of a lot of things right now. I get asked all the time, how do we keep Idaho, Idaho? How do we keep our values? How do we keep our heritage? How do we keep this wonderful place that we have? At the same time, you have Meta, you have Micron V2 now.
Yeah.
You've got, you got we're discovered. Like, it's not stopping now. And, you know, you talk to people that are coming from out of state, and I'd come here too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not stopping. But what's your take on our little community? What we should be worried about? How we stay connected? Mm-hmm. How do we deal with some of the crazy stuff that's happening at the legislature?
Yeah.
How do we?
Couple things. My biggest concerns are this ongoing division and fragmentation where people don't feel they can sit down and talk to each other, even about things that shouldn't cause rancor and division. I have to say, you had an elected official on recently that is a friend of mine from years ago, and I saw her recently, and I said, I may not always agree with the way that you vote.
Yeah.
But I always appreciate how you explain your thinking and why you voted that way. Last year, I helped put together a panel that Superintendent Critchfield sat on, and somebody that I knew came to it, and she was sitting there with her arms closed, arms folded, and she was watching. And after the panel, I'm like, what'd you think? She's like, I was prepared to hate her even more, but I got to admit, I like her and she is reasonable. And I'm like, yeah. Why would you think the worst? And so I feel like continuing to stay away from the online rage and the snap judgments and have conversations is key. I think people need to vote.
Yeah.
I think people need to vote in the primary. I think people need to continue to.
Amen. I mean, that's when things happen.
Yeah, and I think that there is a danger of people completely opting out. Now, I will say a bright shining light that I saw that I want to keep pointing to and highlighting is how thousands upon thousands of people rallied around public lands.
That was cool.
People across all different backgrounds and political beliefs.
Together, yeah.
And we just saw, I think, a whole bunch of our legislators wrote to our congressional delegation thanking them for their work. And that is the power of people in action. And that's the way our democracy should work, both on the side of people of all walks of life realizing they have a shared common value, voicing that, and our elected officials listening.
I agree. And I think my worry, because we're kind of in the thick of it, whether we want to be or not.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we are sometimes. Like, sometimes I'm like, why am I in the middle of this? But I think in an ever increasingly noisy world, like noisy, that is built to divide us and built to feed, like, it's built to divide us in every single way. And monetization of that divide is what's really behind it all. So that's dividing us. Then you have this other bucket of distraction, just distraction. So don't forget the divisiveness. Just figure the distraction of our world right now, and then this idea of, well, I'm just going to give up. Kind of. So there's three things, and then underneath it all is we're as disconnected. We're just disconnected. To each other as we probably have been in a lot of ways, and then we have these elections that matter, and so it's a big problem. It's a big problem, and I think it's going to take authentic people that can get through the noise. And I'm just not even saying I'm not saying picking sides here. I'm just saying you want people that are critically thinking, that love this place, that want what's good for everybody, helping us make decisions for our people, and not the headlines, and it worries me a lot. And I'm really, Jess, I'm more grateful than ever for people that, of whatever their political background, who really care about my town, and our people and my family that are serving. And it's so refreshing to be. I don't even care politically. We start talking about stuff, but like, if you care and you're a critical thinker and you're in this because of, we get together and all of a sudden, like, we're like this. We can start talking and we disagree on a few things. Where I disagree with people is the people that are in it for, you know who said this best? We had Paul Ryan come to our thing a couple of years ago, our kerosene thing. And he just is like, there, with the change in the way the media works, there's people that are just not in it for the right reason.
No.
And that is locally, it's statewide, it's national wide, and you just got to be careful, because that's part of our problem. But I don't know the solutions, but I really appreciate the fact that you're in it to win it, and you make it a point to make a difference out there. It's separate from your business. It's just part of who you are. Mm-hmm. So,
well, I appreciate
this thing
that.
went by way too fast. What else? Any closing comments?
I would say in your point, like, there are so many things to get distracted about. There are so many things to get triggered by. There are so many things to get angry over. And what I've tried to do, and that I encourage others to do, and it is an ongoing process, is identify the things that matter the most to you and put those energies there. I am not going to be somebody that's out at a protest or organizing a phone tree or whatever, but I'm going to be the person that I want to be at the table where the decisions and conversations are being made. So as much as I can connect into that and have influence through those conversations, that's where I'm going to be. And what are the things that I believe greatly in? That we should be welcoming to all diverse opinions, that more people should be at the table to make us better, that you should care about your neighbor. And so if there are different ways that outside of my business I can help with that, by helping people speak more effectively or with impact, I'm going to do it. And so there are so many things and so much doom scrolling that I think we need to guard that energy and our sanity in a way that we can feel like we're having an impact.
Amen. Yeah. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for your leadership, your friendship, coming on today.
Thank you for
Keep making an impact. Well,
yeah.
But you are a pillar of our community. It's awesome. It's awesome to talk to you. Thank you.
As well, Tommy. Thank you.
Thanks.